stroke early evening, and I'm topside of Newark, but I'm not heading to Bestall this evening. Heading somewhere else, somewhere different, and somewhere where I've not trapped for many years. All being well, I've been moth trapping at Spalford Warren, which is a Nottinghamshire Wildlife Trust Reserve. But once again, I've cut my timing a little bit fine between daylight and darkness. Well, I've arrived here at Spalford Warren. Bit of a strange place, Spalford, but it's a good place. It's very dry, sandy soil here. It's almost pure sand in places. And it is a Nottinghamshire Wildlife Trust Reserve, for which I have a permit. But I'm deciding where to trap. I mean, the habitat is, there's a lot of pine here, and there's oak, and lots of birch. But I don't know where to trap. There's a small car park area up there, and that's where Dillis and I trapped the last time we did trap here. That's a good number of years ago. Some very specialist moths here, and it's very under recorded, especially in terms of micro moths. But there are two macro moths that I would like to trap. One is white colon, if I remember right, and the other one is Archer's dart, and Archer's dart is a real beauty. But there for later in the year. In the next 5 minutes, I've got to decide where I'm going to run the trap for this evening. It might be where I am. Decisions. Well, we're off and running here at Spalford Warren on February the 25th, and a start time of 1800 hours. It's forecasted to have variable cloud this evening. There is a first quarter moon high in the sky, but we'll give it a couple of hours, see how we go, see what turns up. Well, moths are flying, and a robin is singing beautifully. It is a lovely song, robin. Not very often I hear one while I'm trapping. So will proceedings follow previous trapping sessions, and the first moth we get will be a chestnut. I have no idea. This is totally new trapping here at this time of year. I think we trapped here twice, Dillis and myself. It might have even just been the once. But I'm sure that it's going to pay off in terms of trapping. I meant to trap here last year, and in the end I never got around to it, but I've gone past Bestall gravel pits this evening, left that a few miles back down the road, and we'll see what Spalford has to offer at the end of February. And there are certainly noctuids flying around, so we'll see what we get, see what comes in. Well, I'm on a slowly increasing number of moths that are coming into the light. We have this, which is a satellite. Nice to see. I thought that satellite wasn't having a good time of it in the last couple of years or so, but towards the end of 2025 numbers seem to have picked up, and it's nice to get this one this evening. This is the orange form, the orbital stigmata, which is the term given to that large roundish dot with two accompanying smaller dots, almost like two moons going around a planet. And this is the orange form of that orbital stigmata. But a nice moth to get, satellite. Whether we get any of the different coloured forms, it also comes in yellow and white too. There's a quick glimpse of 3 chestnuts which are now in. They're all, interestingly, on this side of the box. We've also got Tortricodes alternella in, which you would expect with there being a lot of young oak here at Spalford Warren. Maybe we'll get Oak Beauty this evening. That's a beauty of a moth, and very aptly named too. It's a very different kind of evening this evening. That breeze and wind that had the other night at Gamston Wood has finally ceased. It was very windy again at times yesterday, pleasantly warm in the sunshine, it was lovely, but the breeze was always blowing through the treetops. And today's been similar. It's not been as breezy as yesterday, but it has been lovely. Saw the first orange underwings in flight around Sherwood Forest today, just the 2. They have a very weak fluttery flight, often near the tops of silver birches, but they do come lower during the day, and you can often put them up while they're drinking at puddles or other sources of moisture on forest tracks. But nice to see also was a male brimstone which flew past me. That was lovely. It's always nice to see the first brimstone of the year. It'll be a while yet before we see the first brimstone moth, but to see a brimstone butterfly is always a sure sign of spring for many people. We have our first pug of the year, which is the very common brindled pug. If you trap in woodland, deciduous woodland, from March until early April, you will get this, and you will get this in numbers. This will be the commonest pug, and it's a good way of learning with pugs, to be honest. Very few fly early in the year, but the one that does fly early in the year and in the largest numbers is always brindled pug. As you can see here, a bit more close up, it is actually a well marked species, though the markings are almost sort of confused. It's almost too busy a species to appreciate those markings. It's made up of various sort of browns and greys, but it is attractive and regularly seen on the trunks of trees during the day when you're walking in woodland during March. We will be seeing a lot of these, not tonight but in the next few sessions as we go into March. So that's brindled pug. suddenly started to become active. Numbers of March moth coming in, and yellow horn is another one which has started to come in. There's about 4 or 5 yellow horns in. Perfect conditions for late February. We have a few more days or nights left of February. Nice to see these moths coming in. Here's one of an increasing number of yellow horns now. Most of the moths that are coming in are yellow horns and March moth at the moment. These are one of those moths that don't look so good under artificial light. Although I suppose it could be said that no moths look so good under artificial light. Nothing beats natural daylight. They are a very attractive moth, and as is usual with this species, the ones that have come in are showing quite a good amount of variation. They're a cracking moth. Already gone 10 minutes over an hour. I don't know where the time goes to, but when it's busy like this, and it is busy, it's surprising how busy late February and certainly during early March moth trapping can be, and that's where the time goes. There's always plenty of moths to sort through. You're looking for something that's a little bit different, unusual, one that you've not had that particular evening. I really enjoy trapping late February and early March. I know you're limited to your species variety, but you never know what can turn up. Last year, early in the season, I had 2 dotted chestnuts at 2 different sites, and I'd never had one before. There's always the chance that the unexpected could eventually drop into the sheet. Female emperor moth at Besthorpe last spring, I think it was March. I didn't expect that. There again, sometimes you forget about the fact that some moths could turn up, and it's always a very pleasant surprise when they do. But it's just nice to see good numbers of moths here. There's increasing numbers of yellow-horned and March moths. Going to be a decent total. We'll see how it is at 2000 hours, whether I'll stop a little bit longer. But it's a very enjoyable session. What I want to show with this particular video is how you can come out early in the year and trap good numbers of moths. It is very mild, it's 11 centigrade, so it's positively balmy for a February evening. And although your cast or supporting cast of moths is limited, there are good numbers of them, and it makes for an excellent hour or two. As you can see around that light, there are moths flying around that light, there are moths coming in, there are moths delving into the leaf litter at the side, but there are moths. You're limited with your range of species, but you get good numbers of those that come in, and occasionally, as I mentioned, you can get something that gets the heart racing, something maybe rare or unusual. What we haven't had this evening, and I've just realised, is pale brindle beauty. Who'd have thought that? In fact, there are two species that aren't in, and I would have put money on those two species coming in. The aforementioned pale brindled beauty would have been a dead cert in racing, and so would Hebrew character. Not had Hebrew character either, and I expected both those moths to have come in. They may well yet drop in, but no signs so far. I do have a mat on which I'm lying, although it is dry. This is very sandy soil, incredibly sandy soil. It's, well, pretty much pure sand. So it drains very, very quickly. But I do like this angle. It's also a relaxing angle, being like this. Gives you a different perspective. But we're coming up to 2 hours. Whether I stop any longer, I don't know. This has been a good sample of what's about here at Spalford Warren. Nice to come back here again. And we'll certainly be back here as the months progress. We need to be back here sometime in May, I believe, for any chance of white colon. That's just moth that I've never seen before, and it was only discovered here not that many years ago, really. It's a good one for Nottinghamshire to have. And it would be a nice one to see. At the moment, it's still March moths coming in, and yellow horns too. Well, I said that I wasn't going to film that many moths, but seeing as this beautiful moth has just come in right at the very end, I was just starting to pack up. I saw this thud into the leaflet, and I thought, that looks a bit like an oak beauty, and what a beauty it is, immaculate. And those antennae, just look how feathered those antennae are. For many people, this moth, because of its beauty, it really is very aptly named. It is one of the highlights and species that people like to trap early in the year. It's very much one of those reward moths that reward you for the effort that you put in. And these can turn up in good numbers. Say this was another moth that we used to get in good numbers when Dillis and I used to trap in the Sherwood Forest Country Park area. And I'm delighted to get one here. An absolute stunning moth. If you're one of those that leaves the trap out overnight in March or late February even, when you open that trap up in the morning, this is probably one of those moths that you wish and hope for. And what a fitting way to end this very enjoyable session. Moths are still coming in, but I'm more than happy with my 2 hour or so stint here at Spalford Warren. And we'll be back.